What's up, guys? Zeenigami here, and Global One Piece Treasure Cruise is getting limit break really soon. So let's go over what limit breaking is, how you're going to limit break your characters, who you should limit break, and if you should even limit break at all. So limit break, if you don't know what that is, that's basically breaking a character's limits. You can only do it once a character is max level. So if you click on you're going to rearrange this menu here. So that way this button down here is going to be limit break. Obviously you're in global, this will all be in English, so that's going to be really obvious to you. So when you click on a limit break button, characters that have limit break abilities will be highlighted. So the only characters that I can see here are the characters with limit breaking abilities. Eventually, either like upon launch or later on, we'll have a sort by limit break characters. So you can always sort by characters that have limit breaks here, and then all the characters that don't have limit breaks will be down on the bottom. If you see a character with a rainbow border on them, that is the border you get after you fully level up a character's limit break abilities. It doesn't matter what their sockets are. It doesn't matter what their special levels are. Their actual level has to be max in order for you to start limit breaking. But once you get both of their limit break abilities to maxed, then the character will have a cool little rainbow border around the character. So, first of all, what is limit breaking? Limit breaking gives you additional abilities, additional stats, and additional. It could change your captain ability. It cannot change special ability. There's no limit breaks that changes a special ability, but it can change your captain ability. It can change special cooldowns. It can increase your stats, and it can give you additional abilities. So you'll see here that there is this little snaking line. If I go to a character that has not yet leveled up their snaking line, this is what you're first going to see whenever you select a character to limit break. Let me find a character, yeah, like you. So this is what you're going to see with your brand new fresh characters. This little snaking line, nothing that's glowing. You can click on positions and that will make everything glow. And you have this 0 up here and you have this orange button. This orange button is going to show you all your limit breaking materials. The limit breaking materials are going to be separate from your regular One Piece Treasure Cruise character box. They are going to be Proficiency Potions. We'll find out what all these names are in the actual version whenever Global comes out with it. It's unlikely that Bandai is going to use the same terms that we have been using so far. Like we've been calling these Proficiency Potions, we've been calling these crystals. Chances are Bandai is going to change it completely because they really don't like using the same terms we use. So we have Proficiency Potions, which I have a lot of. We have it's Mastery Points. Okay, we have Mastery Points. Do we already know what things are called? Help me out, because I don't know what Bandai is going to be calling things. And here we have all these limit breaking crystals. So the crystals are divided into colors. The ways that you get these crystals are by doing Adventure Mode, which will be coming out in some future point. You can also get them from some events. And depending on where you place in Adventure Mode, you will get crystals. Whenever you're doing Adventure Modes for characters, they're going to be limit breaking crystals specifically for that character. And in order to get all the limit breaking materials for one character, you have to get 1 million points in that adventure. And every time you go through an adventure, you're going to get more points per run. So the first run, you get like 10,000 points. The next run will give you like 12,000 points, then 15, then 18, then 22. So it's going to increase every single time. So the more runs you do, the easier it is to get higher and higher and higher points. These are training drinks that give you mastery points. And these are fragments, crystals, and jewels. Okay, so fragments, crystals, and jewels. Jewels are basically, you only need 1 to 2 of them per character. It's not very many. You're going to need a lot of these crystals. These are going to be the most valuable of all the limit breaking gems here, or whatever you want to call them. These are going to be the hardest to get. You can get them every once in a while. There will be little treasure chests on adventure maps that you can get these out of. They will also drop off the fights in adventure mode or treasure map. And as you can see, like I'm using all of my reds. They basically go off the characters, and characters will often use multiple colors. For example, if you click on a position here and click on this button, it's going to tell you what you need in order to level up to that limit break ability. So you must be level 99. I need 10,000 mastery points. I need 10,000 berries, and I need 2 fragments. Or I can click here, and it's going to give me a total of everything I need. I must have 63,000 mastery points. I need 100,000 berries, and I need 10 fragments and 1 crystal. Or if I go all the way to the end, it's going to take 2 million mastery points. Everyone requires 2 million mastery points in order to fully limit break. It's going to cost 1.2 million berries. Basically, all 5-star characters take 1.2 million berries. 6-star characters take 5 million berries, and a adventure mode character, treasure map character, takes 8 million berries. So you're going to be spending your berries like crazy. Even though I've had a lot of berries on my Japanese account, I basically used up like all of them, and I started having to sell princess turtles and specifically looking for berries on runs. So you're going to be blowing through your berries very, very, very quickly as you limit break your characters. You can see here, to fully limit break a character is only going to take me 2 jewels. There's going to take me 23 crystals and 7 off-color crystals. And you go over to... Oh, right. Adventure mode character takes 3 million. So adventure mode character is 3 million, and a legend is how many for a legend? A legend is 5 million mastery points for a legend. And in order to level up these mastery points, there are 2 ways to level up mastery points. One way is to use them on treasure map. So if I use a character on treasure map, even if they are not max level, they can accrue mastery points. I don't know if any of my non-max level characters have mastery points on them. You might. Nope. Does anyone? Do you? There we go. So you can see here that my Nami is not max level, so I cannot limit break her yet. But you can start accruing mastery points on her by using her in treasure map. You can also gain mastery points on a character by clicking on that button. You'll see your potions here, and you can use any number of potions. It's going to cost you a few berries, and you click OK, and it just adds it. These potions, there was an event island on Japan that you got a lot of them off of, and if you just go ahead and max them out, I don't want to spend all of those. Goodness. Then you can start like leveling up, but I cannot level up Nami yet because even though I have hit the mastery point requirement, I do not have the level requirement in order to level that up. But on a character such as Senior Pink, you can see when you can level a character up because it'll start glowing. Like here on my Snek, she has almost 1 million mastery points. I will need that 2 million in order to get that final point, but I can select any position up to here and level it up until there. So if I want to reach this sailor ability, you can click on the node to see what the sailor ability is. There are lots of very good sailor abilities. For example, Sandra Sonia's sailor ability here is, and they are also all in the database if you want to look that up, is boost this character's attack against strength characters by 2 times. So even though she's a dex character, whenever she attacks a strength character, she'll do full damage, which is pretty cool. A fun side effect of this 2 times damage limit break is that if you hit a character with high defense, for example, if I had her attacking a strength turtle, it's actually going to do double damage against the strength turtle. So if I would, since she has a 7-hit combo, a 7-hit combo should actually do 14 damage against a strength turtle. Just a fun fact of the way that the double damage sailor ability works. So all these nodes here, let's talk about the actual nodes on a limit break. Let's go to like Luffy. These characters have a lot of them. So you have additional sockets. There are lots of characters that get additional sockets. So Luffy starts off, I think, with like 2, and then he gets 1 socket here, 2 sockets, 3 sockets, 4 sockets. Oh, I guess he starts with 1 and gets 4 sockets as we level him up. Each of these positions is a limit break ability. For example, Luffy's abilities are, he gets strength damage reduction, which you can also see on here. He gets strength damage reduction. You can click on that. You can see what it does. So it's 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. And the abilities level up, which is a whole nother system we're going to have to get into. And he also has Enrage. And what Enrage is whenever you take damage, either from a preemptive attack or on the previous turn, then he will get additional attack. So here, if you took damage the previous turn or as a preemptive attack, then he will get an additional 150 attack. Sort of like cotton candy attacks on a character. You also have limit breaks that increase your captain ability. These are incredibly, incredibly valuable. Basically, the only real characters that have it are very, 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 very few characters. Raid Boss Mihawk, for example, gets an additional health boost as an additional captain ability. All the Adventure Mode characters have lots of captain ability improvements, and they all changed it in different ways. For example, Luffy goes from being a 2 times attack booster after 2 perfects to being a also boosting attack by 4 times after 4 perfects, and also reduces damage taken by 4%. But you don't get that until you get all the way up here until the last captain ability limit break. All these single arrow ups are the very boring stat increases. Yellow being health stat boost, red being attack stat boost, yellow being recovery stat attack boost or stat boost. So all these nodes will just boost that stat. A cooldown reduction node always reduces cooldown by 1. So every single one of these nodes you see on a character will reduce their cooldown by 1. A socket orb will always increase 1 socket on a character. Sailor abilities have a bunch of very different ones, from the increasing attack that we saw earlier to ones that you've seen before, like increasing attack of your whole crew, increasing attack of themselves, increasing attack of powerhouse characters, or something like that. And let's go into the actual abilities. So whenever you level up a character to their potential ability, let me see a character who doesn't have it yet. And I always level up the first one. No. God, stop. Akainu definitely doesn't. Okay. Oh, treasure map characters reduces it by more. So treasure map character limit break, cooldown reduction sockets, or cooldown reduction points reduce it by more and more every time. Everyone else will reduce it by 1 though. So with these points, once you unlock a potential ability, it'll start at level 1. So you'll see here that my Akainu has level 1 critting. So if I hit with a perfect, then it has a chance of dealing additional damage on crit. And he has level 1 in rage, which, like I said earlier, whenever you take damage, it increases his base attack. And I don't have anything here. In order to level these up, you must either use a copy of the same character. So I cannot use Raid Boss Akainu, I cannot use Story Mode Akainu, I can't use Neo Raid Boss Akainu. I must use Legend Akainu in order to level up these abilities. If you use a copy of the same character, it is guaranteed to level up that ability, or level up a ability, and it always goes up to what is unlocked. So if I only have the first one unlocked, and I feed a Legend Akainu to Akainu, then it'll level up that first ability. If I were to feed a Legend Akainu to Akainu right now, then it would randomly level up either this one or this one. But it is a guaranteed level up. Now, that is a lot to give away. I do not recommend using your Legends to limit break your Legends. It is so expensive, unless you're literally spending thousands of dollars and you're like, well, I've got 12 copies of Akainu laying around. You're not going to be able to fully limit break Akainu with just copies, because it takes 4 copies of a character per limit break ability in order to fully level that out. So for like Ace, who has 2, I must need 8 copies. For Luffy, who has 2, I must need 8 copies. For who has more? Legends have 4, so they need 12 copies. Raid bosses need 8 copies. So what you can do is, if you're going back to an old character like Doflamingo, and you only need to limit break him, you only need to farm 8 copies of a character in order to fully limit break him if they only have 2 abilities. 4 copies per ability. So whenever you go back, do your Dofi, only need to do 8 Doflamingo runs. You're guaranteed to get a level up on your limit break abilities every time you feed a copy to themselves. Now, the other way to level up a character's limit break is by using these tablets. So these tablets are very rare that you can get them off of Treasure Map or Adventure Mode. They will come in chests, which is the only way to get them. You cannot get them from fights. They will only be available in chests, and they do not guarantee a level up of that ability. And they work just like socket books. When you don't get to choose what abilities go on a character, these tablets will only increase it once you've already unlocked that ability. So like a character who I have not limit broken yet, like Ganfor here, who I have not unlocked his potential abilities, I cannot give him a different potential ability by giving him a specific tablet. I must first unlock the potential ability. Oh, let's actually do you so I can show that off. So with Bellamy here, I can go up to here. I highly recommend that you just limit break to the first potential ability of basically every character you can. Once you max them out, or once you max out their level, give them just a few proficiency potions or mastery potions. It's very cheap to get that 60,000. 60,000, the mini one gives you 20,000 each, so it's like 4 in order to get past 60,000, so just 4 small mastery potions. These are incredibly common, as you can see by having over 350 of them. Once you give it 4, you'll be able to get up to here, and just go to that first potential ability and limit break up into that first potential ability. It only costs 1 crystal and a few fragments, but that gives you some very cheap stats and the level 1 of a potential ability, which are often very useful to have. And now he's moved up because I limit broke him. Here we go. So getting that level 1 is very easy to achieve. It's very cheap, and it's basically super non-committal. Even on characters you're not going to use very often, just get that level 1, and you have already gotten much better. So like here, I have Enraged, so whenever he takes damage, I'll get like a few more attack on him. I think the level 1 is how much? 30 more attack. So it's like I put 15 cotton candy on him every once in a while for basically chump change. And so if I wanted to level up this ability, ability, I need to either feed Bellamy copies of the same Bellamy, or I can go down here and feed them. And by feed, I just mean use the power-up button. The very same power-up button, you just go here. Like, let's see. Oh, you, of course, will be done. Do I have Enrage? I don't know if I have Enrage. Here we go. It will glow yellow. Whenever you are able to level up a limit break ability, it will glow rainbow or yellow like this. So if it doesn't glow, you cannot level up a limit break ability with it. So feeding Luffy any of these will be a complete waste. I must feed him those in order to have a chance of leveling that up. Now, I won't use it for this Luffy because Luffys are fairly easy to get. Save those tablets for characters who you basically can't get copies of, such as a legend. With so the limit break abilities, the ones that I would say you should value the most are ones that will let you just completely change whether or not you can win or not. These right here, this one is actually incredibly valuable. This will get rid of orb bind. So the thing like Ambush Quest Cavendish that gets rid of your orb entirely, this will reduce it by 5 turns. So that one is incredibly valuable. Pinch healing, which is below a certain health threshold. If you hit a perfect with that character, then you'll heal, such as Cavendish has that. Pinch healing, he'll heal. If you're below 40% health, he'll heal 1.5 times his recovery with every perfect that you hit on himself. It's a nice bit of healing that you can get off of a team. Other ones are no healing reduction. Like Luffy has no healing reduction, which goes up to 4 turns of no healing on Luffy. Some characters go up to like 7 turns of no healing. That will completely change whether or not you win or you just lose based off of whether or not you can heal. And then there's some ones that are like generally pretty okay, like the color damage reduction. This one is 5%. The color damage reduction are always 5% so far. So it's 5% color damage reduction from Dex characters attacking your team. It doesn't have to hit Ace, but just if they're attacking your team, that's 5% Dex damage reduction, 5% red damage reduction. Enrage is pretty useful if it has a lot of attack, but generally not one of the ones that you really want to go out of your way to get. Shooter characters have a very special one, which is piercing. So this one right here. This one is piercing through barriers, which can be good and bad. So if I use my raid boss Kizaru to attack someone with a barrier, if I am, and it works off of your health, so at level 5, it'll be as long as you're above 50% health, then his attack will go through barriers the same way that Legend Blackbeard attack goes through barriers. But since it doesn't reduce the barrier itself, like if I needed to hit 3 perfects in order to get other attacks through, if I attacked with my Kizaru, he wouldn't count as a perfect, so you gotta keep that in mind. Like if you have characters that will pierce through barriers, they won't hit combos on that barrier. They won't hit perfects on that barrier or whatever. So you gotta be very, very careful. If you're relying on Kizaru to hit that combo and get rid of it, he's not going to do it. He's just going to deal damage to the character itself. Damage reduction does stack with damage reduction on a team. It stacks multiplicatively. So if you have 10% damage reduction off of your sockets, and you have that 5% here, you reduce it by a total of 0.9 times 0.95. So it reduces it by 85.5% from a Dex character if I had level 3 damage reduction and that first one here. So you can't hit like 100% damage reduction. Well, you can't get 100% off of that anyways. What else? Don't limit break. Don't spend a lot of materials limit breaking legends first. Like I said before, you want to get that level 1 of most. I don't want that. I want to go back to my limit break button. You don't want to spend a lot of time fully limit breaking a lot of characters. You want to get that level 1 limit break of a lot of characters first. I fully limit break my raid bosses with impunity because I use them very often for free-to-play guides. But you're going to want to limit break the same way you prioritize like Forbidden Tomes, characters that you use the most, characters that are generally very, very good. Limit breaking raid bosses are really easy because it's very easy to get those additional copies of a raid boss in order to level up their potential abilities. But legends are incredibly expensive. Let me see. Fujitora here, I only have... Oh no, Fujitora I actually have more of. Let me see. A legend that I don't have much on. Here we go. So like Rob Lucci, in order to fully limit break Rob Lucci, not only does it take 5 million mastery points, it also takes 46 crystals of the main color, 14 off-color crystals, 8 jewels of the main color, and 2 jewels of the off-color. So this is 6 times as expensive as fully limit breaking a single 5-star character. So it is ridiculously expensive. Also costs 5 million berries to limit break a legend. And you honestly don't get as much from limit breaking one legend as limit breaking additional 5-star characters. So limit break your 5-star characters first. Get that first limit break ability. And then aim for things like sockets. Like here on my Monster Chopper, I went straight for that socket and the Sailor ability, because those are very, very good. And then you can continue on to potential abilities. So you want to try to hit those main key things. Sailor abilities, look them up before you go for them. Sockets are always really, really good and one of the most valuable things to go for, because additional sockets on a character can completely change whether or not he lets your team work on something or not. And get those level 1s. So far, treasure map is the only way to get potential, to get crystals, and they are going to take a lot of time to farm. You're all going to find out just how much fun it is to farm adventure mode over and over and over and over again. And if secret maps come out, then we've got additional strategies that you can check out versus that. I have guides for all the treasure maps out so far. Which treasure map difficulty you'll do will depend first on your pirate level, and then after that, what position you are on that treasure map. So if you're in the top percentage, that's in the top like 5,000 players of the bronze tier, then you'll go up to silver tier. If you're a top 5,000 silver player, you'll go up to gold tier. And bronze and silver tier players, incredibly, incredibly easy to do treasure map. Like all you're going to need is teams of 5 teams of different characters. Because the treasure map, on the final fight of the treasure map, you cannot use a character 2 times. So you have 5 different fights, and you must use 5 completely different characters, not including your friend captain, on each of the fights. It's like you can't use Legend Akainu twice, you can't use Raid Boss Dofi twice. You can do things like use a Neo version of a character and a non-Neo version of a character, so I could use Dex Dofi and Int Dofi. You can also use evolved versus unevolved characters are different, so I could use an evolved Raid Boss Dofi and an unevolved Raid Boss Dofi. That will work fine for adventure mode. But if you're in bronze tier, you basically can use any team. A double Buggy team, a double Haruta team, a double Bakura team. They will all completely demolish it. You basically don't have to think. Just make a team and just zone out. Put on something fun to watch. Maybe check out a fun Twitch streamer. And just go through it. On silver tier, it's going to start off fairly easy, maybe around a 30 stamina fortnight, and then end up maybe at a 40 stamina raid boss difficulty by the time you finish. And on gold tier, it's going to start off at least at a 40 stamina raid boss, and it's going to, by the time you finish, it should take you about, if you use teams that will boost your points from treasure map, should take you about 25 runs or so on most treasure map characters to max them out. Each run is going to take you about 30 minutes, so it's a big time investment. And that's all going to depend on whether or not there's 2 times points whenever it comes out in global, whether or not which characters are boosted, how easy are they to get, if you have the characters that are boosted, if you have the legends that are boosted, if you have friend legends that are boosted. A lot of factors go into how many runs it's going to take you to level up a treasure map. But yeah, that is a rundown of Limit Break. Who to limit break? Once again, just very, very quick TLDR. Who do you limit break? Get the level 1 limit break potential ability of most characters, then max out characters that are either very easy to get copies of, such as raid bosses, or characters that you're going to using very, very often, like very, very good rare recruit characters. Legends are very, very expensive to limit break, and it's very difficult to level up their potential abilities since you can only use copies of themselves or tablets. So you can put legends very low on your priority list to level up with potential abilities and limit breaking in general. But look for characters that you're using a lot. Look for characters with just getting that level 1 ability because it's very cheap. And avoid legends in general. Just get like the easy to reach legend abilities. Guys, I've been Zeenigami. Good luck. Get ready for it to come out to global. Hope you're ready. And y'all stay beautiful.